let me get right to it because the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I know that normally people are seeing folks talk about the Cowboys because their nauseating and disgusting fan base definitely creates headlines. They find a way to get on my damn nerves every day. And if you agitate me, chances are you're going to hear from me. That's just the way I roll. It's just the way I roll. But damn it, that don't mean that there aren't things that make me happy because I'm not a Grinch, okay? I like to smile. I like to laugh. I like to have a good time. But most importantly, I like to celebrate, okay? And the Pittsburgh Steelers, I mean, Lord have mercy, they won a game last night in Los Angeles, California. Damn it, I wasn't there. Normally, I would be at an event such as that, but I wasn't able to make it. But everybody knows I'm a Steelers fan. And here's all I have to say about this. They finally looked like they had a damn offense. George Pickens had over 100 receiving yards. Deontay Johnson came back. Jalen Warren and Najee Harris running the football effectively. Kenny Pickett is mobile. Plus, obviously, he's sitting up there, and guess what? He's able to throw the football a couple of times as well. The offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, for one Sunday afternoon wasn't offensive to the viewing public. Remember, they came into this game, their offense was ranked 30th. They were ranked 30th in yards accumulated. Their passing attack was ranked 27th. Their running attack was ranked 28th. If you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers personnel, they shouldn't have numbers like that. But when you got an offensive coordinator that doesn't seem to know what the hell he's doing, it could be problematic. It really, really could. Those are the kind of numbers. Those are the kind of statistics that you could have. And that was their situation. So going up against the Los Angeles Rams, I got to admit to you, I can't front. I was worried about him. I really, really was. Puka Nacua is a bad brother. He's the rookie wide receiver for the Los Angeles Rams. We ain't heard much about Cooper Kupp because he was injured to start off the season. And we know he's all world, okay? And even when he came back and played a couple of games this season, he's still Cooper Kupp. But this kid, Puka Nacua, he's something special. And with Sean McVay coaching them, with Matt Stafford throwing the football, with what those two brothers could do in Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, you never know how big they can explode. And I was just of the mindset that they was going to derail the Pittsburgh Steelers. I didn't think my Steelers were going to win this game. I predicted they were going to lose. I can't be happier to be wrong. Okay? I'm very, very happy. Now, I will say this. I don't like that damn 4th and inches call where it was some kind of tush push that didn't work out properly. You ain't the Philadelphia Eagles. You don't know how to execute that play yet. Okay? So because of it, it was a generous situation that ended up where the ball was positioned. It was a generous positioning of the football. And obviously the Los Angeles Rams have nobody but themselves to blame because even though the play was challengeable, it would have been challengeable under 2 minutes left, whether you had timeouts or not. But before the 2-minute warning, you got to have timeouts remaining, and Sean McVay didn't have any timeouts remaining. And so the Steelers got lucky. Matthew Stafford wasn't able to get the ball back. They were able to hold on. Of course, TJ Watt did something right. He had an interception. This brother's just all world. He's something special. What can't this brother do? I got news for y'all. He's better than his brother was. And we all loved and revered the great J.J. Watt. He's better than his brother was. In case y'all didn't know. In case we want to sit up here and act like everything under the sun is all J.J. Watt, 3-time defensive player of the year. I get all of that, but T.J. Watt is better than his brother was. That's no shade on J.J. It's just elevation to how phenomenal T.J. is. I don't think the Steelers defense would exist without him. So I just wanted to take a moment to give them love. They 4-2. They right there in the thick of things in the AFC North. Of course, the Baltimore Ravens are atop because they beat down and bum rushed the Detroit Lions. You see, it's fraudulence. You see, when you're looking for the definition of fraudulence, that's what the damn Detroit Lions showed you today. You got a top 4 offense. You got a top 9 defense. You got Jared Goff, who was an MVP candidate. They were 13-3 since week 9 of last season. Second best record in the NFL behind the San Francisco 49ers. You had a quarterback in Jared Goff that in that span had thrown 28 touchdowns and just 4 interceptions. You had Jameson Williams coming back from his old gambling suspension. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's out there catching passes. You're looking at the Detroit Lions and you're saying, excuse me, even on my A-list on First Take, on ESPN's First Take last week, I had them as number one team in the NFL. Damn it, I'm stuttering, tripping over myself because it came out of my mouth to be complimentary of a franchise that's perpetually disgusting. One playoff game, one playoff victory since 1957. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 10 years before I was born. That's 66 years. That was so damn long ago, I don't remember who the hell the president was. Dwight Eisenhower. Dwight Eisenhower. I had to look it up. I had to have my research to look it up. I didn't remember who the hell the president was in 1957. Thank y'all for telling me. Thank y'all for telling me, because damn it, I didn't remember. Dwight Eisenhower. That's the Lions, other than a one playoff victory they had about 30 years ago. That was the last time they had won a playoff game. They got one playoff victory since 1957. I mean, the last time, with the exception of one playoff victory, the last time the Lions have been relevant, I mean, that's when the Democrats were called Dixiecrats. I mean, don't get me wrong, Barry Sanders, when he was there, I mean, we all know, but it was Barry Sanders. It wasn't Detroit Lions. It was him. He was electrifying, but we knew they weren't going to any damn place. But the Detroit Lions to show up there and to get your ass kicked so thoroughly, so embarrassingly, so profoundly. I mean, it was a statement game, y'all. De trois, as the late, great Stuart Scott, God rest his soul, would always say. What the hell happened to the Detroit Lions? I mean, just when you started believing, a loss is a loss. We get all of that. We understand that. But 28-0, 35-0. And before you ultimately lose 38-6, you got your ass beat. And I knew Lamar Jackson was going to show out. I knew, and I said it before. I said, listen, Ravens going to win the game. That don't mean that Jared Goff ain't going to ball, but he ain't going to ball better than Lamar Jackson in this game. Lamar Jackson just got the bag. Lamar Jackson is the former league MVP. Lamar Jackson is listening and want to put the world on notice. Y'all must have forgot who the hell I am. And he's going to embrace this as a personal challenge. And he's going to go out there and he's going to shine. He's going to bust their ass. But I didn't expect Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions offense to lay down like a bunch of dogs, stinking up the joint. What happened to biting kneecaps, Dan Campbell? What happened to that? Didn't happen. Didn't happen. And as a result, the Lions reminded us that they're just another team. They ain't as special as we thought they are. I understand one game doesn't make a season. But this was arguably the biggest game in recent history for the Detroit Lions. A statement game to make sure they ensured everybody that what you're seeing is not your lying eyes. It is real. We are real. We are coming. And then you stink up the joint like that. Get your ass kicked in Baltimore. It was shameful. It really, really was. Speaking of shameful, that's what we once said about, or we've been saying rather, about Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. Remember when the Dallas Cowboys destroyed them? Just embarrassed them? Remember that? Because I do. Remember what Dallas Cowboys did to them? I mean, when you think about that, what do you say? Dallas Cowboys beat them 38-10. And that loss was followed up by a 34-0 beatdown by the New Orleans Saints, led by Derek Carr, by the way. That's important to note since they lose to practically everybody else, but managed to shut out the Patriots. And then, of course, there was last week's loss to the Las Vegas Raiders and his former pupil, Josh McDaniel, his former offensive coordinator, who's now the head coach in Las Vegas, but doesn't deserve to be. He should be back in New England as an offensive coordinator, and Bill O'Brien should be somewhere instead of the offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots. He should be coaching at Alabama or someplace, or at least being a head coach on the collegiate level. But that is not what happened. And so the Buffalo Bills strolled into New England today And we were expecting the New England Patriots to get romped. And lo and behold, they jumped out to a lead on Buffalo. Buffalo comes back, takes the lead. But ultimately, Mac Jones throws a touchdown pass in the waning moments, lifting the New England Patriots to a 29-25 victory over the Buffalo Bills. And all I have to say about the Buffalo Bills is, you ain't what we thought you were either. But some could argue it is. What did I say to y'all weeks ago? Am I lying now? When I sat up there and I said Stephon Diggs was very, very frustrated. We saw his antics on the sideline during the AFC Championship game. We saw how he didn't want any part of the team in the offseason. We saw how he showed up to training camp late, and he was still a bit perturbed. And I told y'all what I had heard. I told you why. He believes this team has missed its window. Miami's on the come up. Joe Burrow in Cincinnati has arrived. Baltimore doesn't fade. Lamar Jackson's got his money. Deshaun Watson is in Cleveland. We wish him nothing but the best with his shoulder injury, by the way, because you got a $230 million guaranteed contract. And we know that Cleveland can ball. They just beat Indianapolis 39-38. Even though their defense didn't show up as well as we had expected them to, their defense was widely considered big time before Sunday afternoon. So all you need is Deshaun Watson to show up healthy and to remind you how he can ball, and who knows what Cleveland could do. You still got Trevor Lawrence in the South. You still got Patrick Mahomes out west. You're supposed to have the Chargers, but Brandon Staley is still their coach, and they will not come to their senses and let this man go. They need to. Hey, maybe by the time this taping is posted for all of you to see, Brandon Staley will be gone because he damn sure deserves to be. They need a new coach. Denver won a game. They ended up beating the Packers and Matt LaFleur. Well, guess what? When you look at the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton, he took that money, that Walmart money, but in the end, what he should have done was waited for the Kroenke money. What he should have done was stayed his behind off of Pico Boulevard at Fox Studios and waited for that Chargers job to open so he could be coaching Justin Herbert instead of Russell Wilson. That's what he should have done. But nevertheless, he didn't. And Brandon Staley is still the Los Angeles Chargers coach. He just doesn't have it, y'all. He just doesn't have it. He doesn't have the pulse of the team. He's not the guy that's going to win for you. I'm not questioning his football acumen, his football knowledge. I'm just questioning his ability to lead that team, because other coaches with that talent on the Chargers, could you imagine what other coaches would have done? I'm just saying. Is somebody going to say it? I think it's necessary personally. I think it's something that we got to touch on. But getting back to Bill Belichick, it was a tremendous victory for him, because if you can believe it, the 6-time champion for the New England Patriots as a head coach, some would say he was on a hot seat. I'm here to tell you he deserves it. Bill Belichick, the coach, does not deserve it. Bill Belichick, the GM, does. He's been horrible. Talent ultimately wins. His ego clearly has gotten in the way. He wants his kind of guy instead of the best guy. And as a result, he ain't getting it done. I mean, if you look at Bill Belichick and what he has accomplished, what has he accomplished without Tom Brady? 81-94 record in games Tom Brady hasn't started. He's also 26-30, including a playoff loss since Brady left New England after the 2019 season. He could have kept Brady. He didn't want him. He wanted to push him out the door. Be careful what you wish for. Chicken's coming home to roost. So we got to pay attention to all of that. How horrific their offense has been. And we got to pay attention to the fact that Bill Belichick has been in control all of these years. And since 2012, he's drafted 2 Pro Bowlers. Do you know who they are? One was a punter and one was a punt returner. Now think about this. There's a quarterback. There's guards and tackles and ends on the offensive line. There's linebackers and defensive linemen, defensive tackles, defensive ends on defense. There's safeties, there's cornerbacks, there's running backs, there's wide receivers, there's tight ends. And this man, Bill Belichick, has managed to pick 2 Pro Bowlers in a decade. No, you don't know what the hell you're doing when it comes to valuing talent. That's just the bottom line. He may be able to coach exceptionally well, and his football acumen is unrivaled. So he understands what the personnel should be doing, but can he pick the right people to actually do it? He has proven that that is an emphatic no to that question. Period. He's proven it. And we need to all stop denying it because it's just the truth. There is no way around it. So I just think it's important to say that. I've said it on many occasions. I'm going to say it again. Bill Belichick is a phenomenal coach. If you have your druthers, if you own a Robert Kraft of the New England Patriots, you don't let him go. But what you do is call him into your office and you say his privileges of picking the roster has to come to an end. And if he can't accept that, then you do get a new coach. Because Tom Brady ain't walking through that door. Rob Gronkowski, as bored as he looks on television, doing color commentary on pregame shows, because he does look a bit bored and a bit out of place. I'm not questioning his skill set or anything like that. I'm just saying that he looks like somebody that isn't that excited about being there compared to others. Probably because he still want to be on the football field. But he don't want just anybody throwing him the football. I can respect that. But Tom Brady ain't walking through that door in New England. Rob Gronkowski ain't walking through that door in New England. Randy Moss ain't walking through that door in New England. It's not going to happen. And because it's not going to happen, just like it was time to move on from the players, it might be time to move on from the GM, even if that means moving on from the coach too. That's just how I feel about it. The record, the anemic performances, the picking of a defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia, and a special teams guy, and Joe Judge, to be his de facto offensive coordinators and play callers last season, to put Mac Jones in that kind of situation, I think is unconscionable. So if Bill Belichick has to go, he got to go. Plain and simple.